Today, we welcomed back Mike Vivier, who is the president of Vivier Pharma, a dedicated executive with a focus on driving results and developing world-class products that also deliver results. As you know, Vivier is one of our favorite brands. In today's episode, we really got to speak about health, which Mike is so passionate about, and anti-aging, and putting how to put them together in both when you're fighting intrinsic and extrinsic critical factors in your life.
Yes, exactly. What you said. No, it was a great episode. It was a great episode. We haven't had Mike on the podcast for a while, so
For
it
a
was really nice
while.
to see him again. And
Hmm.
Vivier is a brand that we hold very close to our hearts, and that's because they're a local brand, really close. Actually, their office is right across the street from ours. So, and we it's a local family that we've known for years and years and years. So to see them come out with such an incredible brand internationally is really exciting for us. And it's a brand that does super well for us. They are what I said in the podcast or in the episode was they are the kings and queens of vitamin C. And they have a vitamin C for every skin type and everyone. And no, it was just really great. We talked about a little bit on the podcast about longevity. It's a very hot topic right now, and how to prevent and prolong health and wellness throughout our lives. And we touched on
While
all of
looking
that
also the
during,
best.
pardon me?
While also looking the best.
Yeah, looking and feeling your best at every age and stage. So it was a great conversation. He's very engaging, very knowledgeable, very passionate, and it was just great to have him. So welcome to the podcast, Mike.
Welcome back to the podcast, Mike. It's so lovely to have you back. I noticed something that every single time we've had you on the podcast, you've always kind of brought up this component of health, and you're very passionate about it. So today we really want to tie together health and skincare. And so what do you think are the most critical factors, both intrinsic and extrinsic, that influence how our skin ages?
Yeah, so we can start with extrinsic, which is sort of the first big one, which would be the sun, right? So we have sun exposure. We're exposed to environmental elements. If we live in and around near cities, city centers, there's a certain amount of smoke, smog, pollution in
Mhm.
the air, and we're exposed to oxidants. And these oxidants that come in contact with our skin and the sun, obviously very powerful UV rays, they cause damage to the skin, and they break down our collagen, our elastin, and different components of the skin. And then obviously leading to more intrinsic factors. So inside, those are things a little bit more that we have control over. But, obviously diet, exercise, avoiding things like alcohol, smoking, all these types of things. Our internal biological clock is kind of already ticking. There's always an element of our cells actually creating their own natural waste. And that natural waste over time is what causes our skin to age and our collagen to break down. So roughly around the age of, you can call it rounding out to around 30 or so, we start to lose about 1% of our collagen every year. And we start seeing changes in our skin. I'm now 41. Thank God for great skincare. Thank God for Vivier. Um, Thank you. But yeah, you start seeing changes whether we like it or not. And so, investing in great products and a great skincare routine is really a great way to combat these effects of these intrinsic and extrinsic factors.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
So
You
so
mentioned the decrease in collagen. I want to know specific. You can mention also like to Vivier, what kind of formulations or how would you slow down that, ideally slow down the process as much as possible while you're aging?
Yeah, so in the epidermis, the top part of our skin, we have five layers. And then we get into the dermis, and the dermis is broken into two parts. We have the papillary dermis, which is the top part, and the reticular dermis. And that's where all the collagen is sort of made. And we always use the analogy that the skin is kind of like a bed, right? So you have five sheets, and then you have this mattress. And the mattress loses volume over time, and that's essentially collagen and elastin and these types of things. So The body naturally produces collagen, and it needs several things. It needs protein, lysine, glycine, and then it needs a cofactor, and that cofactor is vitamin C. So what we've done, which is pretty unique in our CE peptides and some of our other vitamin C serums, is we've included the vitamin C, but we add back these things like glycine, lysine, proline, the things that we need, our body needs to be able to convert and to make good quality collagen. And so what we see is volume back in the skin.
So
So
when
like
you
essentially your skin's more plumpy. Is that what it like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's really interesting is we talk a lot about the definition of beauty, and what we innately see as beautiful. And babies, when we're full of collagen or we have lots of volume, the light hits our skin and it refracts in a way that we perceive it to be beautiful. And what happens when we get wrinkles is merely that the light is hitting that area and creating a dark line, or what we see as a dark line, which is essentially a shadow. And we don't like that. We don't perceive that to be beautiful. So the whole trick to anti-aging and to get that glow and to have light hit the skin in the right way is to have volume. So we do not want to lose volume. So
Mhm.
vitamin C products, peptides, things like our polyamines, different things like this are really what's going to rebuild the skin and give you optimal volume in the skin, and that's what we innately perceive as beautiful.
And hyaluronic acid also, right? Like,
And yes, so you're right. Yeah, the hyaluronic acid is an incredible molecule. It's a hydrating molecule. It can bind about 1,000 times its weight in water. So we naturally have hyaluronic acid in the body. And you're right, at certain times of the year and as we age, we can lack that hydration and that volume in the skin. So um, products like our Ultimage contain a really high concentration of different molecular weight hyaluronic acid, as well as some neuropeptides. So we kind of coined the term that it's kind of like your Botox and your filler all in one product. That's what we call it,
mhm,
Ultimage.
mhm.
And it really does a good job as well, Beata, of giving you that volume, that plumpness, and making sure that our skin is hydrated.
Mm. I wanted to ask Mike, like when you get into like intrinsic, okay, so intrinsic and extrinsic aging. So basically, the extrinsic aging and the intrinsic is like our bodies being attacked by different things based on how we
Yeah,
feed it and how we live, right?
correct.
Some of it we can control and some of it we just can't control. So can you explain though how vitamin C, because I know that Vivier is like your vitamin C queens and kings of the industry. You've got a vitamin C, I don't know, like 6 or 7 of them. How does it
Yeah.
help
Yeah.
to
So
stimulate?
that's a great question. So what happens is all of these things that we talked about are called reactive oxygen species. We have free radicals, and basically all of these oxidants, things that are harmful to our skin, are missing essentially an electron, and it's going in trying to pair up an electron, and in doing so, it causes damage. So, antioxidants have a free electron or many free electrons to be able to give and to neutralize these free radicals, so that they do not cause harm and damage. So, first and foremost, vitamin C is extremely powerful antioxidant,
Mhm,
and it is able to neutralize these free radicals both from intrinsic and extrinsic factors, so that you're not getting a breakdown of collagen. But on top of that, the vitamin C paired with these other components, these peptides, are also not only stopping these bad things from happening, it's able to create and boost collagen. So you're almost getting a double effect or a double whammy, if you will. You're not only creating it, but you're also protecting it from all this damage. So it's
mhm,
really important for everyone to have really good quality vitamin C in their daily skincare routine.
mhm. What's so nice with Vivier is that you have a vitamin C for everyone, right? No matter what, like if you're acne prone versus if you're more mature,
Or
postmenopausal,
sensitive.
whatever, you really can go and
Yeah,
pick the one that's for you. And they're very comprehensive formulas. I find like it's not just L-ascorbic acid is what's used as the primary vitamin C, right? Combined
Exactly.
with
Yep.
other things.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So we have pure and applied just vitamin C's, and they're a good starting point for the younger patients who are needing to maintain a result, improve our skin, but we're not necessarily at that phase of needing all these other added ingredients in there. So the price point is also at a really great starting point for that younger patient that's looking to get into a good quality skincare product. And then as we age and as we go, then we're adding in things like we have Kinase C, which is vitamin C and a few peptides. Then we have CE peptides, which is vitamin C, vitamin E, and a little bit more peptides. Then we have quintiserum, quinti meaning five.
Favorite.
So there are
I love it.
five different peptides in that one with vitamin C. So you're stepping it up a little bit. And then we have our radiant serums and skin brightening serum, which is centered a little bit more around dark spots, uneven skin tone, these types of things.
Hmm.
And then we have our Grenzine serum, which is really cool because that has our polyamine technology with vitamin C. So what's really nice is that you can start in the line. It doesn't matter where you're at in your journey, but you can start with the Vivier line, and then there are always steps that you can graduate to. So once
Graduate
you've
years, right?
yeah, yeah, once you've achieved the results you're looking for, there's always everyone wants more.
You can step
So
up all the time. You can
you can
step up.
always keep stepping it up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When it comes to a moisturizer, one of my favorites is the SkinCeuticals Triple Lipid Restore. This anti-aging and hydrating cream is my go-to for comfort and restoring the skin barrier. With a powerful blend of essential lipids, it's perfect for all skin types, even acne prone, leaving the skin feeling softer, smoother, and rejuvenated. It's like a spa day in a jar, delivering next level hydration and radiance. If you haven't tried this product yet, I highly recommend it, especially as we move into the colder months. If you want to try this product, go to beskinenvy.ca. That's spelled BSKINENVIE.ca and use code SkinTalks to get 10% off your first order. So the thing that we're hearing all the time, Mike, in the industry, I don't know if you listen to a lot of podcasts or like do a lot. I mean, I know you must do tons of research because obviously it's your industry, but this term of longevity, it seems to be like completely focused. Everybody is talking about it. And so in your opinion, with this focus on longevity that everybody's curious and wanting to understand, is vitamin C a key component to longevity?
Yeah, in the skin. I mean, if you look at longevity in general, it was quite funny. I had this talk with my physician the other day, my doctor, who's a great guy. He's extremely active, and he was saying, the best anti-aging thing that you could possibly do for your entire body is exercise.
Yeah.
And so he sort of said, do you want your life to kind of go down slowly like this, or do you want it to go in and drop off fairly rapidly? And he's like, look, there's no magic. I see it. The people that eat healthy, that avoid as much as they can alcohol, smoking, lifestyle factors, and
Yeah.
who are really fit, typically will live, longer, healthier lives. It's not always the rule, but in general, that's it's a pretty
Hmm.
good argument to stack the odds in your favor. When it comes to the skin, it's no different, right? Yeah, exercise is the type of thing that you have to adopt and you have to do every day and for your entire life for it to be effective. Your skin is the same, so that's really why it's important to get into a good skincare routine and do it daily. And if you do it daily over time, it's quite amazing. One of my aunts is about to turn 80 and she literally looks 60. She's been using Vivier since day one. Her daughter is actually 50 and still looks like she's like probably 30, 35. So as we age and we get older, at 80, to be able to look 20 years younger, I compare her to my grandparents at 80, and she's a
I know.
young, vibrant 80-year-old that really looks 60. So the investment that we make now at these younger years pays off in dividends as we get older. So sometimes we forget when we're younger and we're exercising, doing things, we don't see as much of a change because we're young. But as you get older, it makes a huge, significant difference.
Well, we see that a lot in like again going back to the longevity. It's filtering, trickling down into like Gen Zs and the really younger generations, like teenagers that are, obsessed with skin and preventative aging and like wanting to look their best. And do you see that also, like in what you're when you're in out in the world, like looking at what's going on, that this crazy trend around young?
Absolutely. I mean, we're a wiser generation. We have way better information. You see the younger generation, they're not smoking the same way that people did 40, 50, 60 years
No,
ago.
not smoking. No.
Habits have changed. Gym memberships are up. The craze, the amount of products that I see online for health and wellness, gut health, then the types of products that we're seeing, both topically, oral, everything is changed, and people want to live a healthy life. The world we live in today is an incredible world. There's so many advantages and cool things going on that people want to try to live as long as they can. And if you look at the last 100 years, the average age of life has really been creeping up.
Yeah.
In the last few years, it was around 80, and I think it's even up to 82 and 83 now. So as modern medicine advances, as AI comes into play over the next 5 to 10 years, really at the forefront. I sit on the board of a hospital, and they just brought in robotic surgery equipment, and so now
Amazing.
robotic surgeries and these technologies are coming in. So yes, I mean we live in a world of everyone wants to live longer and live their best life.
Yeah. Feeling good in your skin. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Feeling good in your body and living a healthy lifestyle for sure. You talked about like people not smoking the same way, but we see a whole like canceled out on alcohol type culture also. Like a lot of people are just
Yeah.
like, we're not drinking
Not
anymore. We're not,
drinking.
because it was
No.
kind of this thing like, oh, you get home from work, you're not feeling good, red wine is an antioxidant. So like it was like kind of became acceptable, right? Whereas
Yeah.
it's being kind of canceled out. I find now people are just
I
not
don't
doing.
drink anymore. It's been now many, many months. And I just made that. I was never a big drinker. I love wine, like everyone, with a great meal and a really nice bottle of wine. But, I just made a decision that, I want to start doing healthier things and make healthier decisions in my life. And as much as
Mhm.
I love wine and I love these things, yeah, look, they do have an effect on the body. There's no doubt. And as we're getting older, you feel it, right? Yeah, I had one glass of wine with the dinner, and you don't sleep as well. You wake up the next morning, a bit groggy after a glass or two, and I was just sort of saying, you know what, the negative side effects, are not outweighing the benefit anymore.
Yeah.
So, I might as well just drink water. And I was at two events the last 2 nights and only had water, and you know what, I had just as much fun.
Good.
Feel great. So and I think what's really cool is I want to bring this up today, which is really neat. Is there's a whole new area that's really becoming prevalent, which is really the psychology of skincare, which is really interesting. And we haven't really talked a lot about that. We talk a lot about health and our body and the actual skin, but we forget to talk about our mind. So there's a big movement in self care, but that has to do with the well-being markets and the state of the mind and the psychology of self-care. Just the act of waking up every day and applying products to your skin, brushing your teeth, doing your hair, exercising. These self-care things are extremely good mentally for everyone. And we're definitely seeing a society now with technology and all these amazing things, but it is a very quick society. It's very demanding on us mentally. And we're seeing a lot of new cases of, different mental sort of side effects of all this stuff. So self-care, eating well, and all these things, I think is a great way to keep a balance in this crazy life that
Mhm.
we're all living post the pandemic. And with AI now very prevalent, and AI coming in the next 3 4 5 years, the world is going to be a significantly different place in the near future.
Yeah, I
It'll
agree.
change rapidly, and our habits are going to change rapidly. So I think all of this is just a great way to stay grounded and to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I noticed the big shift like at the start of the pandemic. It was, during the pandemic that people were all of a sudden waking up, I find, and I feel
Yeah.
it's extended out. Now we're 5 years or
More and more.
4 years later, and we see it a lot. Like, and just that daily habit is. I find that when you take the time, I'm talking from personal, but you take the time for exercise, a good meal, your skincare routine, the self care, whether it's supplements or sleep, whatever it is that you're doing in your life, and me, like, for example, I just recently adopted meditation into my daily practice of
That's
self-care,
cool.
and I find that it just takes the edge off. It takes the edge off the stress, and we know that stress causes inflammation in the body, and it's really just not good for us in any way, shape, or form, and it
Yeah.
accelerates the aging process. If you take that edge off, it's kind of like you round your corners and you become conscious of your habits and you implement good habits into your routine. It does have an effect on longevity,
Oh,
just on its own. And you
absolutely.
talk about mentally, right? The
Absolutely.
mental component, forget about the physical, but just the mental,
Yeah.
it changes. It
Well,
changes.
you're right, Beata. I mean, we're a generation of living with the phone. The phone lives in the hand. I go out to restaurants, I see couples sitting there not engaging, they're on the restaurants. I see children in front of tablets at restaurants. A lot of people can't put the phone down for even 5 minutes.
Oh,
It's an
Yeah.
addiction. So the fact that people are taking time like that to do yoga, to put the phones down, to get away from technology, these types of things, yeah, they do wonders for our health. But yeah, I mean, when you look at all personal care effect items, like we're saying, from hair to nails to teeth to skin care, all these things are way up in surging probiotics and supplements, and the amount of these products that we're consuming now as a society is tremendous, and it's not going to stop. And it's
no,
just people are a lot more aware of the realities of life, is that we're all heading in one direction, and we
we're
want
all
to try
heading
to
in one
prolong
direction.
that. We
Yeah.
want to prolong that and keep looking as young as we possibly can and be as healthy as we can for a long time. And we
Hmm.
see it now, in case
Hmm.
in point, my aunt at 80, we see people that are very vibrant. I golf with certain individuals. They're 80 years old. They're still walking the golf course. They're lucid. They have great conversations. They're still playing a good round of golf and almost breaking their age. So they might be shooting 85, 86, and they're 80 years old.
Yeah, I
So
love that.
it's in 50 years ago, you wouldn't see that.
No,
So I think the world's progressed tremendously, and
yeah.
great innovations, technology, and products are really at the forefront
Hmm.
of like things that you guys offer from beginning to end. Really help people to try to live their best life and achieve that.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's mindset
100%.
too, right? Like when I think about my grandmother, who at 50 was like completely gray, glasses, like, real nanny style clothing and everything. And then you look, I'm in
Mhm.
my mid 50s, like if you would put us side by side, it's like completely night and day. The mindset around all of it is so different than it was, 50 years ago. And so, like, you're
Oh
right.
yeah.
The next years are going to be, we're going to see some dramatic changes in all of that area. Do you see anything happening in skincare that is going to support this evolution that we're going to be seeing in the future?
Yeah, we're really excited. We're heading into our 25th anniversary this next year, which is
Congrats.
Amazing.
really, really hard to believe. And we're going to be kicking the year off with a brand new product launch, which
Oh,
is going to be incredible. Something we've been working
Ooh.
on for over the last 5 years. And yes, once again, we're going to be pushing the limits and boundaries of what was possible in skincare with a whole host of new ingredients, new science, innovation, and technology. We have actually a fairly aggressive and loaded pipeline for next year. So there'll be several product launches coming from Vivier, and we're very committed to doing that over the next 5 years.
mhm.
Launching several new products a year. I'm very excited about the innovations to come.
Me too.
And yeah, the access to ingredients and technology and things are changing, and Vivier, remains committed to being at the forefront of that. The discovery of polyamines was massive for us and our clients, and the Grenzian line of products, and then the
Mhm.
VStat scar product is phenomenal. And yeah, we're just excited to continuously launch new innovations and to push, the boundaries of what's possible in skincare to the max.
Yeah, no, we love
That's
that.
so fun.
I
I
love
can't wait.
Me too. I love like, because I find our industry in particular, it's there's so much happening and changing and moving, and there's so much progress, and that, it's fun to see these new products and new studies coming out that just support everything that we do every single day in maintaining like healthy skin and skin health. What I love so much about the Vivier brand, I have to say, is really that you have a real focus on your systems. And because I find in skincare, when you're getting into skincare, a lot of people, what they do is they just come in and they kind of jump and kind of cherry pick a brand and say, "Oh, I've heard vitamin C from Vivier is really good, so I'll buy their vitamin C." But when you really want to see skin change, and maybe you can talk about that in terms of aging and,
Yeah.
getting into a system is really important, I think, right? So you focused a lot on that as a brand. So why did you do that?
Yes. Yeah, so I'll go back to, I think, using a great analogy. It's like eating, right? We have four major food groups, and we're not just going to eat cookies. Although I'd love to just eat
Oh
cookies
yeah,
all the
cookies and
time.
Same.
chips.
Like crumble cookies for 3 meals a day
Oh
would be
my gosh, yeah.
would be
Yeah, for
amazing.
sure.
But it wouldn't be a great approach to a diet, right? So picking one and two products and cherry picking things is not, again, a great approach to trying to treat your skin. Just like if you're going to go to the gym, you're not going to just do only bicep curls. You're not going to be taking an approach. It's going to give you a full body or holistic approach. So it's the same with skincare, right? You need to prepare the skin. So we put makeup on, we get dirt on our skin, we have oils, we have things. You really have to cleanse and keep the skin clean and balanced. We have a microbiome, we have bacteria
Hmm.
on our skin, and that bacteria is very important. There's good bacteria, bad bacteria, and all day long we're accumulating, bacteria. We don't even know it. We're touching our face all the time. We don't know if our hands are clean. But sometimes we come out of the shower, we wipe ourselves with our towels. Our towels are not 100% sanitary either. So you're picking up different bacteria. So really cleansing and preparing the skin all the time is really, really important. And then once the skin's prepared, then you would want to use targeted or more sort of treatment products that are going to have an effect. And when you prepare the skin well, then what happens is these products can also penetrate really well, and they build a synergy on, the steps that you've done at the beginning to get the pH perfect in the skin so that these products will penetrate and absorb. And once you've done that, you touched on this, Beata, with hyaluronic acid. Moisture in the skin, the vast majority of our skin is water,
Yeah.
and keeping your skin hydrated, just like us, and I drink a ton of water now. Hydration is a big key to
Hmm.
overall health. It's the same in your skincare. So moisturizers and the hydration products, the humectants, emollients, and the ingredients that we use a lot of fatty acids and natural things found in the skin. Everything that's sort of naturally found in the skin is what you're going to find in our products. We're giving back the body exactly what it needs. And then at the end, you need to protect the skin. So we talked about extrinsic factors like the sun. The sun is the most damaging thing
Yeah.
that we have, period,
Period.
right?
Yeah.
So if people
Yeah.
are watching this podcast, and if they can only get one thing out of this, is that if you're not wearing a sunscreen every day, you must, right? The chances of getting skin cancers on the scalp, in and around the face, the neck, and these types of things as they age and we get older, God willing, into our 70s, 80s, and 90s, the chances of skin cancers are very high. Skin cancer is the number one, sort of killer, the number one cancer. I don't think we talk enough about it.
Hmm.
Kind of is more of the silent killer. And so from an anti-aging standpoint, a sunscreen
Yeah.
is incredible, and we need to protect the skin. So
Even
when
the
you put all these
UVA,
factors together
you
and you
know?
put them into a system and they work synergistically together,
Yeah.
you're taking a full and proper approach to keeping the skin in balance and keeping it where it is. And so our kits are wildly popular because we're all busy and we don't want to think about it. So you buy
Yeah.
a kit, it has your 6 products basically, and there's only 5 steps in the morning and 5 at night because you're not going to wear sunscreen,
Including a
at
cleansing,
night.
including the cleansing. So it's really
Exactly.
not a lot. It's like 3 steps.
No, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. So like cleanse in the shower, you get out and you apply a serum and a couple of creams with your sunscreen. You go out for the day. It takes a couple of minutes. The nice thing is that our kits are also at about a 20-25% overall savings. Plus, you get the beautiful bag.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I
from a
love the
value
new bag.
standpoint, you get such a great value with it. It makes the most sense to purchase a kit or system and then get into a good routine. The other thing is with our products is that less is more and a little goes a long way. So many of the products last 3 into 4 months, sometimes even longer.
Yeah.
So, for a couple of kits a year, we're talking anywhere from 1,000 to max $1,500 a year as an investment in our skin. So if you're
It's
looking
less than
at,
100. It's about $100 a month, right? 100,
yeah, exactly. About
a
a
month.
hundred dollars or maybe a little less a month to have really, really great skincare and to take care of your skin. I think it's really worth it. And if somebody can't really afford the $100 of skincare a month, at least we can break it down with three or so good products, 3 to 4 good products, maybe be a little bit less, the $50-$60 range per month. But that marginal difference is worth, in my humble opinion, the
Mhm.
the investment. It truly is an investment into your
Mhm.
health, your mental health, health and well-being. There's so many benefits to not only having a great looking skin, is that you're going to prevent diseases, you can prevent skin
Yeah.
cancer, you can prevent a lot of
A
things that can
lot.
actually get you very sick or cause problems later on down the road. So I just think that, what, if you look at what a gym membership costs, what we spend on phones and
Or
technology,
just
and
on Starbucks
well, that's it.
coffee.
5, 6, $7 a drink, and most people are spending $1,000 a year at Tim Hortons and Starbucks
Yeah,
and
I know.
these types of things. So
Yeah.
I would much
It's
rather
insane.
do a 30-cent pot of coffee at home and shift the budget to skincare
Absolutely.
than go out for that. It makes total sense.
Hmm.
I have been using the SkinCeuticals PTOX for a couple of weeks now, and I have to say I'm obsessed. This product is a needle-free anti-wrinkle peptide serum that visibly reduces 9 types of expression lines and reveals glass skin radiance. It's a great product to start using when you're not quite ready for injections, or like me, it's the perfect complementary product to use in conjunction with my Botox sessions to maximize wrinkle correction. I even have a couple of friends who have been using the product and have noticed change in their skin texture and any deep wrinkles they may have. You have to try it. Trust me on this. If you want to try the product, go to bskinenvy.ca. That's BSKINENVIE.ca and use code SkinTalks to get 10% off your next order.
I just wanted to know what your opinion on like retinol with aging.
Yeah. So again, retinols play a big part of cell turnover, and basically, again, we go back to our skin and our skin cycles. It's about every 28 days with about 12 days of exfoliation. So it takes about 40 total days for a cell to be born, to come to the surface, and to eventually exfoliate. It can be faster than that, but 28 days is usually the
The
cycle
average.
of which, yeah, the average of what a skin cell is sort of turning over. But again, as we get older, that process can slow down. If we don't
Hmm.
have a very healthy skin, that top layer of the epidermis, the stratum corneum, will become thicker and thicker and thicker. And that's where you get that dull, dry skin. It's not going to be very reflective of light. So we don't see that. We don't perceive that as being beautiful. Just like 2 brand new cars. We take 2 brand new cars off the lot. One's dirty, one's clean. We see and perceive the one that's clean as being beautiful. The other one is just as beautiful. It's just dirty.
Yeah.
So most people have beautiful skin underneath there. They just haven't washed the car. So by using polishes or scrub, using retinols help to speed up that skin cycle, but also help to shed this unwanted skin. So that's why like peels, exfoliation products, scrubs, masks, polishes, these are a good thing. The more that you polish the skin and the more that we get the dead skin cells off, then the more luminous our skin becomes. And the more that we emit luminous light, we perceive that to be more beautiful. So
Mhm.
retinols play a massive part in a great routine and turning those skin cells over. And most of our kits contain a retinol as well. So you kind of have a component of everything in there to make sure that your skin's doing what it needs to.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Well, this has been so fun and so interesting. As always, Mike, it's
Yeah,
always so much fun to
as
chat with you,
always.
get
So
to
like
Yeah,
not only learn about
ultimately,
Vivier, but also about the industry, what's going on and stuff, because it's part of our lives today, and we just need to take a closer look at it and what we're doing.
yeah, absolutely. And I think it's great what you guys are doing. Podcasts are awesome because I was just talking about this the other day that unfortunately there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Oh
There's
my
a
gosh.
lot of
yeah.
BS. There's a lot of marketing claims that are untrue. You see a lot of these products for liver detoxes and this thing that pops up and
Yeah.
that thing and everything else. And people are gullible because they just don't know. And
Hmm.
so there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of hocus pocus. There's another dermatologist with this Miami product, and it starts off with a patch on the skin, and there's a brown spot, and then they rip the patch off, and the brown spot comes off, and it's a brown spot corrector product. And they're
I
talking about
wish.
like stuff and everything else, and just the way that it was represented, it's not properly represented, and the ingredients that's in
It's
that product,
misleading.
is very, very misleading to what it's going to do. And, there's a lot of people that are just trying to make a buck, and that's really unfortunate and really sad. So it's really important for people to sift through the information, get educated, watch podcasts, look at your ingredients, learn how to read what's in your products,
Hmm.
and really question everything. And I think that's what's been great about Vivier over 25 years is that we're growing by leaps and bounds. The company's doubled in size in the last 5 years. And that's really because people trust the brand. At the end of the day, we've always been in this thing to make the best products, to be open and honest and transparent as to what's in our products, why you need these things, how and why it works. There's no puff marketing, there's no magic. It's just really understanding the skin, what's going on, and then giving the skin what it needs to so that it can function the way that it did when we were much younger.
Yeah.
And then you get the results like my aunt, who's looking 20 years younger at 80. So I think that's really important. And I applaud you guys, because I know you guys are very ethical in your approach and are very knowledgeable, and you're sharing that knowledge with your customer base, which I think is great. Not a lot of other, sites and companies are doing that. And ultimately, I know you guys want to find the right products and the right product mix for the people that are coming to, Boutique
Yeah.
Skin Envie,
Yeah. I think it's
so that
very
they can
important.
experience their best results and get their best self. And I know
Yeah.
you guys are genuinely behind that. And again, a lot of other sites and places are just wanting to sell product for the sake of
Hmm.
selling product without it being about, people being extremely happy with what they're getting and getting a benefit out of it.
Hmm.
And so anyways, I applaud you guys for doing that. It's
Thank
really
you.
great. It's an honor and a privilege to be part of it. And it's great for everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being such a big
We're
supporter of
definitely trying to
ours.
make a difference. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
like you said before, there's so much information out there, and if you
It's a
can,
blessing and a curse at the same time, though, this
yeah,
information. Like, it's some people
some
take
of
it
it's
and run, and
discouraging.
then yeah, you lose like, you're not an expert, and then you just take this information and you run with it, and then you influence people, right? Because that's what it's all about. But then there's also a really good side. So it's really finding the middle point, which is what we try to do by interviewing professionals and industry leaders to really get like factual information down, and
Open
then our listeners can
conversation.
Yeah.
ideally make their own opinion, and
Yeah.
make the best decision for them and what's best for them, not just getting information on
Not
TikTok
following a
that's like
trend.
from like Crunchy Granola
Yeah.
somebody, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is that at the end of the day, the brands that you guys are carrying are a brand like Vivier. We're pharmaceutical. We're made in pharmaceutical facilities. We're using
Yeah.
pharmaceutical grade ingredients. We're
Based
using
on
the
science.
best of the best of the best. You can't buy better ingredients. You can't manufacture in a better plant. Can't test to higher standards. All of our products are clinically tested. The product that we're launching in January, we've done several clinical trials. And the other products that we're going to be launching in 2025, that's why it takes 5 years to
Yeah.
launch these. You have to come up with the conception, you have to test them, you have to make sure that the formulation's okay, you have to
Stability.
submit for approvals, and then you have to go to clinical trials and you have to do all your testing on it. And only when we're satisfied with the formulation and that we 100% know that we're getting clinical outcomes through the clinical trials, will we launch a product. And sometimes, like in this case, the product that we're about to launch, it's really pushed the boundaries. So we had to go back to the drawing board actually 7 times. So there was 7 reformulations before we could actually get it right to get it onto the market. So yeah, I think that that's the difference between the brands that you guys carry or a brand like Vivier is that there's clinical evidence. We there's all of the information, studies behind it. It's not bullshit. It's not some hocus pocus story. It's just great science. It's innovation, technology, and people that come by and are able to access medical grade skincare. It's not that much more expensive than the regular stuff that you're going to buy, and the
I find
regular
it,
stuff and the
I
stuff you
find it's
see
like
everywhere on
oftentimes
TikTok.
less. Mike, I find it's
Oh
less
yeah,
often because there's so many
yeah,
people that we encounter in our business on the daily that are spending literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on their skincare routines, and they're not getting anywhere with it. They still are
no,
struggling with their skin. And we see
yeah,
it all the time. And it's like, because they don't know what to do. And where's the expertise? Like when
Mm.
you walk into a retail
yeah.
outlet, like where's the expertise? Who's looking at your skin and asking the
Confusing.
question?
It's confusing.
It's very
There's so
confusing.
much
So
garbage on the
yeah,
market right now that not only does it not do anything, the amount of people that I come in contact that are getting contact dermatitis, they're getting redness, they're getting dryness, they're getting acne
irritations. Yeah.
breakouts, they're getting negative side effects from these products because they're so poorly formulated, and they're not properly tested. They're
Or
not
like
using
mix
great
and matching
ingredients.
different things. Like there's
Yeah,
no
or they
like
start
Yeah.
mixing and
cohesion.
matching a whole bunch of
Yeah.
things, and like there it becomes all over the place. And so, that's not that's not a good thing. You'll end up spending a lot of money, and people get very very frustrated. And that's the very reason why we started Vivier was my parents grew up in Northern Ontario and were quite poor, but my grandmother always invested in this really rich moisturizing cream. It was quite expensive. So my mom grew up, with this whole premise, and that company ended up no longer existing. So she was on the hunt for other products and tried many of them. And again, it was all puff marketing. They weren't working. They were not giving results. She was spending tons and tons of money and just not
Trying
getting
to find
where
this.
she wanted to
Yeah.
be. And that's where Jess, my father, with his pharmaceutical background, and my mom was in clinical testing of pharmaceuticals, said, you know what, there's a better way to do this. There's a huge gap in the market of products that are actually going to be honest, that are going to work, and that are going to give value.
Yeah.
And that was our very premise of starting the Vivier brand, and that's been our mission for 25
Well,
years.
that's wonderful.
I love
That's a
it.
good story. And
It's
also,
amazing. Yeah.
congratulations for your 25 years.
So
Thank you
fun.
so very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. It's hard to believe. I mean, 25 years ago, we were just starting. I remember, doing everything by hand and getting started, and bringing the products out into a market that didn't really exist,
No, I
bringing
know.
products to
It's
physicians, to doctors. And they're like, well, what is this? And I'm not even set up for retail. And how do I sell it? How do I account for
yeah.
it? How do I put this into patient protocols? And here we are 25 years later, and
Driving.
it's been a blessing. We have great, great, great partners like yourselves. We've had very loyal customers over 25 years, very loyal patients and customers, that have been using our products for
Yeah.
25 years. And we're
Definitely you have.
very, very, very grateful for that.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah. Thank you so
Great
much.
conversation. And we'll have to have you back.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I
Definitely.
really appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please take a moment to rate, review, and follow us on social at Skin Talks Pod. We'll see you next week.